Alright, you know who I am, and you know what this video is going to be about. Yeah, no, hiding it, I am going to gush about Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Fight for the future. Oh boy, because the game is 20 years old. To this day I upload this. It is 20 freaking years old. Man, you thought I liked Street Fighter 4. No. I still think Street Fighter 3 is the best Street Fighter game to date. Street Fighters 4 and 5, they're not bad, but I still like Street Fighter 3. I will get into reasons why, but see, the thing is, every gamer has like a game that they'll just double, triple, quadruple dip on, no matter how old it is, and no matter on what platform. Some people may have Super Mario Bros. 3, some people have a Mega Man game, or even a Resident Evil game. For me, it is Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. That's a game I will pick up on almost any platform that I have available. Even on the Switch. I have the game on the Switch. That's how much I loved it. Even though, before that, I had it on PS4. Although I didn't play the game all the way back in 1999. I don't know if it made it in arcades in America in 1999. It might have been Japan only. I did play the game a couple years later. See, a little bit of backstory. I know some people like that. I'll try to be brief with it though. I have played Street Fighter 3 New Generation before, and I was kind of meh about it. But then a couple years later, when I went to a party at a laser tag place, there was an arcade center off to the side, and the arcade would have a good selection of games like Rampage World Tour, the Capcom Aliens vs. Predator beat 'em up, Marvel vs. Capcom, but they had Street Fighter 3 Third Strike as an arcade machine. I was not familiar with this game beforehand, but I know it was based off the Street Fighter 3 setting, which had like a whole new sleuth of characters, with the exception of like Ryu, Ken, Akuma, and they added Chun-Li back into this game. And I decided to give that game a shot, and I've been doing pretty well in arcades, and I've actually been on a bit of a winning streak against some of my friends. And I was playing just Ryu at the time, because Ryu was like my biggest main at that time. So obviously I had some familiarity with him, but I was still playing the game pretty terribly. I didn't even know that you could have parried in that game, and I was still kind of crazy mashing buttons like hectic at the time, but I was doing pretty well. And I was even like pulled in by the weird soundtrack of the game, especially the character select music. And then a couple years later, I kind of didn't hear about that later. I didn't pick up the Anniversary Collection, and later on I actually didn't pick up Online Edition for various reasons. I wasn't big into Street Fighter. Well, I was, but then I kind of phased out, and it wasn't until I picked up the Alpha Generations Collection that I got back into Street Fighter again. I think I mentioned this before in my Street Fighter 4 vlog. And around that same time, when Street Fighter 4 was announced, and I was playing Alpha Generations, and I picked up a DVD copy of Street Fighter 2 the anime movie, which is still a fucking amazing movie. A friend of mine hooked me up with a multiple arcade machine emulator. And I asked, hey, is it possible that you could put any of the Street Fighter 3 games on there? And he said, no, the hardware's too complicated. It's not properly emulated. I don't know how to work that. I was like, oh, okay, but hey, I get to play X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom, so. But then a couple months later, we meet up again, and then he tells me, oh, by the way, I got Third Strike working. Do you still want that game? And I said, fuck yeah. And then I went back and played the game, and that was when I started to appreciate it more and more. Not just for the gameplay itself, though a lot of people, love it or hate it because it's too difficult and technical. Now, here's the thing. I am not a pro tournament player by any means of the imagination. I love fighting games, but I can't play intensely. I don't go to tournaments. I've actually dabbled in tournaments before, but I don't go to them anymore. And I acknowledge that this game might be a little more difficult, but that still doesn't steer me away from this game. I still love to play it. And I suck at it. I'm not that good. Still practicing with a bunch of characters, still learning things, even though I've played the game for over a decade now. but I still consider it to be the best entry of Street Fighter to date for a couple reasons. One, I think it's the most gorgeous looking game. The sprite animations were at Capcom's top notch. They are all really smooth. They look really good to this day. I mean, there have been better looking visuals later on, like Skullgirls, that does objectively look a lot better than Third Strike, but this still looks good. The animations still look nice. They look really smooth. They had a lot of fun with Elena's idol animation, though I think that one was rotoscope. So, gorgeous game. Best soundtrack in the series. I love the hip hop. I'm a white guy, but I actually do love me some old school rap music from the 80s and 90s. Ask my friends. I would like to play that shit. I would like to play me some Ice Cube. I would like to play me some Bone Thugs and Harmony. I would like to play me some Infinite, who is the hip hop artist who did a couple of the tracks for this game, as well as doing some of the narration for this game. But I love the main theme song that plays in the attraction screen. I love the character select theme song, as cheesy as the lyrics are. I love the music to Sean and Oro's stage, The Longshoreman. I love Snowland, the stage to Necro and 12s. I love Jazzy NYC. I love Killing Moon, which is Akuma's theme in this game. Makoto's theme song, Spunky, and Psych Out, which is the theme song to the final boss of the game, Gil. And I really like that song a lot because it does bring up the feeling that you are fighting an unstoppable god. And while we're talking about bits and lore of Street Fighter, I've grown to appreciate this particular game's lore a lot because it branched out. It took a big risk by basically wiping out the entire roster in favor of a lot of fresh new faces. But I also appreciate the fact that this is a storyline that doesn't involve the organization Shadaloo, and as well as its leader, and Bison. That organization's great, that character's awesome, but I would like a breath of fresh air, and this still has that breath of fresh air because Shadaloo still continues to be a threat in Street Fighters 4 and 5, which are integrals. They don't even take place after Third Strike. But in this game, you basically fight the Illuminati, or the Illuminati's behind all of this, and they're trying to, cause an apocalypse and usher in a new world. Basically, the villain you're fighting is a Fabio version of Jesus Christ. He can even resurrect if you try to, if he has full meter, which is one of the most broken boss things ever, as if he wasn't difficult enough. And then you have the main protagonist, Alex, who's based off of Hulk Hogan. I know Street Fighter 3's been pushing him since New Generation to be the face of Street Fighter, and I think he's a pretty cool character. I've actually been practicing with him most recently. But boy, does he have the most banal backstory ever. It's very similar to Guile and Chun-Li's, is that he's trying to fight to avenge his fallen mentor slash friend. In this case, it's Tom, who is this Jean Reno looking guy if you see him in the ending, in his character endings. And he doesn't even die. He gets hospitalized, sure, but he said it was a fair fight, and Alex is still like, no! You shall not die in vain! No, I'm not dead yet. Oh, you'll not be mortally wounded. No, I think I'm gonna have a full recovery. I'm still going to avenge you. And then he basically enters the tournament and, fights all the way up to kill. Crazy stuff. I do confess, I did not pick up Online Edition when it came out last gen. It might be because I was still a bit bitter about, this was when Capcom was in its downward spiral. With the cancellation of Mega Man Legends 3, re-releasing a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 9 months after the vanilla game came out, and Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which should have been one of the best crossovers ever. That should have been better than Marvel vs. Capcom, ended up to be a disappointing piece of trash. And you know what? I really don't care much for the new remixes they had for that game. Thank God they had the option to play the arranged soundtracks from the Dreamcast version. Otherwise, that would have left a really bad taste in my mouth. But yeah, did not care for the new remixes they have. I know a lot of people like listening to those versions of the music. Nah, I'll stick to the classic 1999 soundtrack. That's good enough for me. I also really like parrying in this game. There's just something satisfying about timing, pressing forward or down when a person's about to attack, and then you parry it, and then you have a window of opportunity to make a really good counterattack. I was disappointed when Street Fighter 4 dropped that in favor of focus attacks. In Street Fighter 5, I believe Ryu and Alex have them as like V skills or whatever, but I'd rather it be everybody having them. But yeah, that's another reason why I like this game. And, you know, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike still has that amazing Evo moment that never gets boring when you watch it. Everyone knows what I'm talking about with Daigo, when he parried Chun-Li's super arts, all of the hits, and then he makes a comeback of his own and wins the match. Still the moment. It is still the moment. I mean, if I have time to edit this video, I'll play the clip right here. So I don't know what else to say. There's probably bigger YouTube channels already talking about this game. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Maximilian Dude is either talking about it or doing a stream about it. You know, he's probably gushing about the game because he still plays it from time to time. There's probably other FGC guys that are going to play this game and talk more extensively about it. But me, I'm just a fan who just really, really loves this game. Most people already know that, but I thought I would just elaborate a tiny bit more as to why I think Third Strike is not only the best Street Fighter game, just one of the best fighting games in general. I put that really high up there. So yeah. Well, anyways, I guess I can make another announcement. I will be streaming the game via Anniversary Collection on PlayStation 4 later this evening, in a couple hours or so. I'll try to keep you up to date on Twitter if I can. And if some people want to come up and challenge me to a fight, go ahead. You can kick my ass if you want. I'm still practicing with Alex. I want to probably get back to the other characters like Dudley. God, Dudley. Oh, I forgot to talk about how great Dudley is. Basically the anti-Balrog. But I did a character review of him way back when. And I did talk extensively about him. But I still think he's an awesome character. Yeah, so I'm going to stream the game this evening. Unfortunately, the lobbies are very small. I think it's like a 4-man lobby. But I'll see if I can get some people in if anyone's interested. If not, I can still play through arcade mode and just play through there while having a conversation with my audience. So, with that said, I hope to see you guys then. Yeah, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, 20 years old. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it in the comments below. And with that, Darkscream signing out. We await your return, warrior.